of the 215 unmarked graves discovered in British Columbia hit the community of Muskowekwan First Nation hard. It brought up many memories for survivors. Cynthia Dejarlais says just before the pandemic hit, the community discovered 35 unmarked graves on the Muskowekwan Indian Residential School site.
In 2018, we did a project with the University of Saskatchewan and Alberta. At that time, we didn't even know about ground sonar penetration. And at that time, they came out here because we always knew the history of the school, that there were unmarked graves in our area here.
The pandemic put the project on hold. The community held a ceremony for those 35 spirits.
So we had a ceremony for our people that we had buried here in the back. Our elders have told us that there's a lot of areas here that haven't been explored yet.
Holly Geddes, a councillor for Muskowekwan First Nation, says she grew up hearing the stories about abuse and unmarked graves, but she didn't want to believe it.
All of a sudden, all the stories my grandmother had told me were true. 3 days ago, I realized the horror stories she told me were true. And yet at the moment when she was telling me those stories, I'd tell her, "Go cuckoo, don't say that. People aren't like that. That can't be true." I feel guilty. I didn't believe her. I believe her today.
The Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations Chief Bobby Cameron says he has the support of the Saskatchewan and federal government to conduct radar ground searches on all the Saskatchewan residential school sites.
The work is going to happen on the radar ground searches. It is going to happen. It's going to work. We hope to get it this week, but if not, early next week. We have support from the provincial governments, federal governments. We have the support from our survivors and our chief and councils. We have support from our families.
Chief Cameron adds, even though this is a step forward in uncovering the lost children of our residential schools, saving our children in care today is also a priority.
We have a lot of work to do to get our children back home from the social services ministry. They're still taking our children from our homes and our communities. Modern day residential school kidnapping is still happening in First Nation country. And the implementation of Bill C-92, bringing our children home where they rightfully belong.
Priscilla Wolf, APTN National News, Muskowekwan First Nation.